Today is Tuesday, April 21st. This is VOA's International Edition. I'm Lori Lunden in Washington. Coming up, as lockdown protests grow across the U.S., governors plead with the government to support their stay-at-home efforts.
Nobody deserves to lose a child or a parent or a grandparent or any loved one. And that's precisely what's at stake today.
The World Health Organization fears U.S. funding cuts will roll back health gains in Africa. Also ahead, a singing doctor proves that music is medicine. It's all on today's International Edition. The U.S. coronavirus death toll topped 42,000 on Monday as more protesters gathered in state capitals to demand an early end to the lockdowns. In hard-hit Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer said that last week's gathering outside the state capitol protesting stay-at-home orders put public health at risk.
The thought that COVID-19 might spread because of a big gathering like that is real. It's a concern. And while I respect people's right to dissent, I am worried about the health of the people of our state. That's what's driving every decision that I've made. None of this is easy.
Whitmer opened Monday's press briefing with a tribute to a husband and wife in Detroit who lost their 5-year-old daughter to COVID-19, Michigan's youngest victim in the coronavirus pandemic. Skylar Herbert died Sunday.
Father who has spent 18 years on the front line as a Detroit firefighter. Her mother is a Detroit police officer for 25 years. They've been on the front line and they've served with honor and integrity, and they did not deserve to lose their child to this virus. Nobody does.
600 people have died from the virus in Detroit. Skylar was one of 47 Detroit residents to die from the virus in just the past 3 days. As of Monday, the city had more than 7,700 cases. Stay-at-home measures have ground the economy to a standstill and forced more than 22 million people to apply for unemployment benefits in the last month. But a number of governors across the country say until there is enough testing in their states, the measures are essential to slowing the spread of the virus. They disputed President Trump's recent comments that Democrats are playing a dangerous political game by insisting there's a shortage of tests. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said states are still waiting.
The federal government has said from day one, don't worry, we're going to provide funding to the states. Don't worry. But I'm worried because I've heard this over and over again.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said Monday that it could take weeks, if not months, before the country's most populous city reopens due to a lack of widespread testing, even as officials elsewhere began rolling back restrictions on daily life. In Maryland, Governor Larry Hogan, who is also the chair of the National Governors Association, said the federal government has not done enough to help states get virus tests, so Maryland arranged to get 500,000 of the test kits from a South Korean company.
Equal to the total amount of testing which has been completed by 4 of the top 5 states in America combined.
On Monday, though, President Trump again countered the lack of testing, saying he's given governors lists of virus testing labs in their states and argued some just don't know their own testing capacity.
Not simply ask the federal government to provide unlimited support. I mean, you have to take the support where you have it, but we are there to stand with the governors and to help the governors, and that's what we're doing.
The United States has by far the world's largest number of confirmed coronavirus cases, with more than 774,000 infections. New reported U.S. cases appear to be slowing from about 30,000 a day from last week. Still, hotspots are emerging in cities like Chicago, Boston, and Philadelphia. President Trump and Congress are near a deal to providing the massive need of financial assistance for small businesses and hospital aid. AP correspondent Sagar Magani has details.
The Trump administration and Congress are trudging toward a deal aimed at getting more help to small businesses. The small business aid program ran out of money last week after being swamped by companies applying for loans. The new $450 billion package would get it rolling again while also adding money for hospitals and COVID-19 testing, which Democrats are demanding.
We're getting close to a deal.
The administration's hoping to get the small business program running again by midweek, but the timeline is uncertain. It's now clear there will not be a deal in time for the Senate to act this afternoon. If one can be struck by tomorrow, there could be another Senate session. The House says it could vote as soon as Wednesday, but there are logistical hurdles, since lawmakers would likely have to return here to Washington for a vote. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The head of the World Health Organization, Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, at a news conference Monday, responded to President Trump's criticism of the organization, saying that U.S. experts have been an important part of the fight since the COVID-19 outbreak began, and said experts from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention had been working with them at the UN agency in Geneva since January. Tedros also said the World Health Organization has placed orders for 30 million diagnostic tests over the next 4 months and is shipping nearly 180 million surgical masks in April and May. President Trump suspended funding to the organization last week, but Tedros said divisions between people and political parties are fueling the pandemic. Here are some of the other stories we're following at VOA. A black market has developed in Russia for an antiviral HIV drug explored as a possible treatment for COVID-19, the respiratory disease caused by the new coronavirus, according to sellers, HIV activists, and the head of the drug's main Russian producer. More than 20 trials around the world are testing Kaletra as a COVID-19 treatment or post-exposure prophylaxis. Spain's health ministry on Monday said the number of people diagnosed with the new coronavirus in that country has surpassed the 200,000 threshold. Spain has the second highest number of diagnosed cases in the world after the United States. China's health authority has called for a stronger and more rigorous testing regime to assure that the new coronavirus does not escape detection, whether in travelers arriving from abroad or from other parts of the country. All localities, it said, must improve their testing capabilities, including those at border crossings, and report any epidemic information in a timely manner. Stay with VOA for all the latest world news. Wider world off limits to those practicing physical distancing. New bonds are forming closer to home. In communities around the world, neighbors are now doing curious things like hunting for teddy bears and joining in evening rituals to honor frontline workers. Matt Dibble looks at one community in Oakland, California.
For more than a month, Californians have been asked to remain at home, with only rare and local outside trips permitted. Many neighbors are reaching out to each other with creativity and compassion for parents confined with young children. The daily walk is liberating.
Where's the bear? There it is.
In this Oakland neighborhood, furry faces reward sharp eyes, like those of Brendan Moriarty and his daughter Eloise.
Where is it? Where is it? There are bears everywhere and windows, and it's fun looking for them, right? Do you like looking for bears?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Emmy Hoffmeister and her daughter Ivy are also joining in.
I saw people that were posting pictures of their bears in their windows, and I realized that it was a thing. That night we put a bear in our window, and we went and looked around the neighborhood to see how many bears we could find. So how many bears have you found, Ivy?
10.
So-called teddy bear hunts have sprung up in many other cities, too, to entertain and reassure those who might find the world a little scary right now.
Ivy, when you see the bears in the windows, how does it make you feel?
Happy.
In cities, many now have a nightly salute to healthcare workers. This is one community among many where strengthened bonds seem certain to outlast the pandemic. Matt Dibble for VOA News, Oakland, California.
Stay